do I have time to tell a claim story? That's kind
Yes.
of fun. Oh, okay.
Let it
Okay.
rip.
All right. So have you seen the movie The Wolf of Wall Street?
Yes, of course.
Okay. You remember the boat that they show in
It
that?
died. The owner was telling the captain to keep going. It was okay, and then it was catastrophe.
Well, so that was a real claim. That was a yacht named Nadine, but it didn't start off as Nadine. And this is a great story because it shows how connected yachting is to everybody in that is still in this business. So it started off as a boat named Coco, and it was owned by Coco Chanel.
Oh.
And it was built for her. And so it was sold to a guy named Mel Powers. Mel Powers, and had oil money. He was from Texas, and so he bought it, and he decided it wasn't big enough. And he took it to Merrill Stevens shipyard, and Merrill Stevens designed and put in a 20-foot extension in the center of the boat. Cut the boat in half, added 20 feet to the middle, put it back together beautifully. And then Mel ran out of money. So now the boat is owned partially by Merrill Stevens and partially by the bank from Texas. And my mother, they needed to get it finished. And my mother is an interior designer, and she's like, I'll help. And she comes on board the boat and she goes, oh, this was Coco Chanel's boat. And I mean, literally it had the C's in the furniture and things. And she's like, we just need to keep doing what she was doing because this is gorgeous, And so she's like trying to make it all fit together and look right and everything as far as the original design of Coco Chanel, right?
Uh-huh.
So along comes the bankers, and I'm not kidding. They have white tassels on their boots and wearing the cowboy hats, and they come on board and they go, we got to change. We need some mirrors, and we need some shag carpeting, and I mean, my mom was like, So anyway, they finished the boat, and it's bought by a guy named Bernie Little. Bernie Little was Anheuser-Busch. He had race boats, and he had Big Eagle, and he named the boat Big Eagle. And because he had a number of boats named Big Eagle. So he buys it, and he's chartering it. Mark Elliott was the captain, and they're chartering, and the one of the charterers was the Wolf of Wall Street. And so he really enjoyed chartering the boat, and he ended up, and we did all the insurance for Mr. Little, and he ended up selling it to Jordan Belfort. Jordan Belfort used it in
Who is the Wolf of Wall Street? Jordan Belfort?
Yes.
Okay,
yes.
So he chartered and then bought.
He chartered for a long time, and then he bought the boat, and that's the end of the story. Is poor Nadine going down off of the coast of Italy, and I got the phone call from Mrs. Belfort when they had been rescued by the Italian Navy.
So for those that haven't seen the movie, what happens to the boat? What is this iconic scene in the movie?
Yeah, so in reality, I believe what occurred was the boat was long and narrow, and they couldn't turn around. They got into some seas that they really didn't want to be in, but they couldn't turn around because they were going to breach. And so they kept going, and the seas got worse. It was a mistral, and the tender broke loose. And when the tender broke loose, it came through, because the tender was on the foredeck. Tender came through the windows of the salon, and so they were taking on water, a lot of water, through those broken windows, and so that was kind of the death knell. So the boat sank and off the coast of Italy, and everyone was rescued by the Italian government with helicopters. They actually had to push the helicopter off of the yacht so that they could rescue people, because they couldn't fly the helicopter off. So yeah, that was our That was our claim. We paid that one.
Well, thank God it was insured, huh?
Yeah. Glad it was insured. Yes.
Oh, well, thank you for sharing. That must have been like one fun call. I can imagine being like Tuesday waxies, whatever, and you get one of these catastrophe calls. You're like, okay, this just happened way on the other side of the world. Let's go deal with it.
Yeah. Then, yeah, that does occasionally occur.
Well then, well, thank you so much for that story and for sharing everything else you did with us today in the episode.